What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut, and today we are going to discuss the Ray Bourque trade, which occurred back on March 6th in the year 2000. Now, this trade was between the Colorado Avalanche and the Boston Bruins, and it saw Colorado acquire a pair of well-respected veterans from Boston in exchange for 4 assets. Now, this trade is technically a continuation of the Wendell Clark trade via a first-round pick and Brian Rolston, but this trade was going to get its own video regardless just because of the impact it had in the NHL. So, basically, Boston's legend Ray Bourque was nearing the end of his Hall of Fame career, but one thing was missing: his name being etched onto the Stanley Cup. While the Bruins had been a dominant force for his tenure in Boston, the team had failed to win a cup. With the Bruins trending in the wrong direction, Bourque requested to be traded to a contender. Boston more than happily granted his request and sent another respected veteran with him, as both players looked to chase a ring. So let's start by discussing what the Colorado Avalanche got. So of course they got defenseman Ray Bourque. Now in 14 games in the 99-00 season, he provided 8 goals with 6 assists. He added 9 points in the playoffs, but the team fell short of the Stanley Cup. Now he would come back for the 2000-2001 season, where he provided 4 goals with 6 assists. The team would make the Stanley Cup, and Bourque himself would actually score the game-winning goal in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Colorado would go on to win that Stanley Cup, giving him his first ever ring. Teammate Patrick Waugh said, quote, "A name was missing from that cup, and today it is back to normal," end quote. After the series, with his main goal accomplished, Bourque decided to retire. He was a one-time All-Star and a one-time Stanley Cup winner in his short 1.5-year tenure with the Avalanche. The other player that they got was left wing Dave Andreyuk, and he would score a single goal with 2 assists over 14 regular season games in the 99-2000 campaign. In the playoffs, he had 3 goals and 2 assists. Now, he would end up walking after that half season, but he would eventually get his ring 2 years later with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So both players that were chasing a ring did eventually get a ring, so happy ending for both players that Colorado got. Next, we have the players that the Boston Bruins got. So the first 2 things that we're going to discuss, the 2 assets that we're going to discuss, were acquired by Colorado in the trade that they got him for was discussed in the Wendell Clark trade. So anyway, the first one we'll look at is the 2000 first-round pick, which would become the 27th overall pick. This was used to select right wing Martin Samuelsson, and Samuelsson would appear in 14 games at the NHL level, providing just a single assist. Now, he would return to Sweden after the lockout-canceled 04-05 season, so not the best pick. They also got center Brian Rolston. Now, Rolston had a solid 4.5-year stint in Boston. He continued to show strong two-way ability, specifically on the defensive side of the puck. He got plenty of time on the penalty kill, as he would score 16 shorthanded goals in his 4.5 years. He actually has a franchise record for most shorthanded goals in a single season, with 9, which he achieved in the 01-02 season. Pretty successful. He also would play on the power play. Now, over 383 games for the team, he scored 101 goals with 135 assists. He would walk, so still pretty successful. Now, they got 2 more assets. The next one will be defenseman Martin Grenier, who did not sign with the team. The last asset that they got was center Samuel Polston. And Polston scored a goal with 1 assist over 17 games before he was traded to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for a pair of assets. The first one being Andreas Nazarov, and Nazarov had one job: to be an enforcer, a bruiser, a fighter, a goon, whatever you want to call him. He would appear in 110 games over parts of 2 seasons for the Bruins. Now, he scored a goal with 6 assists, but he had a mind-boggling 364 penalty minutes. Now, to put his penalty minutes in perspective, for every minute he sat in the penalty box, he spent 1.8 minutes on the ice. That is insane. That is, we miss that in hockey, but at the same time we don't. Now, he would end up getting traded away, and he was traded to the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for a 2002 fifth-round pick. This pick would become the 153rd pick and was used to select goaltender Peter Hamonic. Now, Hamonic spent 3 years in the system for the Bruins before he left to play in his native Slovakia. So, In exchange for Poulsen, the Bruins got one more asset, defenseman Patrick Travers. And Travers, he would appear in 37 games for the team, scoring 2 goals with 6 assists before he was traded to the rival Montreal Canadiens in exchange for defenseman Eric Weinrich. And Weinrich would have a goal with 5 assists in 22 games before walking as a free agent. So we have 3 more teams to discuss in this trade. We'll start with the Anaheim Ducks, who got center Samuel Poulsen. And Poulsen spent parts of 8 years on the Ducks. He began to blossom as a defensive forward, and he spent most of his time on the checking line, but that role was perfect for him. Over 527 games, he recorded 51 goals with 90 assists. In his last year and a half, he recorded 205 hits. He actually finished as the runner-up for the Selke Trophy in the 06-07 season. His play helped Anaheim win the Stanley Cup that year, and he scored the game-winning goal in Game 2 of those Stanley Cup Finals. Now, he would end up being traded, but we will not be discussing that. Next, we have the Arizona Coyotes, who got left wing Andreas Nazarov, and Nazarov continued for his role as an enforcer for 2.5 years. He had 10 goals with 5 assists alongside 311 penalty minutes before leaving the team. Lastly, we have the Montreal Canadiens, who got defenseman Patrick Travers, and Travers played a minor role for 2.5 years with the team, scoring 4 goals with 19 assists across 109 games before he would walk as a free agent. This was the Ray Bourque trade. Again, it is linked to the Wendell Clark trade, which will be linked in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good rest of your day.